I'm Neil Nobel, executive editor for the Prickly Pear. Welcome to 10 Minutes in the Cactus Patch. And this morning we have Liz Dreckman, who's president and executive director of the Arizona School Choice Trust. Liz, thanks for dropping by.
Thanks for having me.
Liz, could you elucidate our audience maybe as to a brief history of school choice in Arizona and the history of the Arizona School Choice Trust?
Sure. Arizona is really a leader on school choice. We actually have 5 school choice programs and had the first individual tax credit in the country. So these programs allow people to donate to organizations that then give scholarships for children to go to private school if they choose that option. And even before those programs passed in the state, Jack and Isabel McVaugh really wanted parents who couldn't otherwise choose. So, parents who were low income or parents who had special needs children um, to have that option to send their kids to a school that would better fit their needs. So, it's been over 25 years since they started Arizona School Choice Trust. And they started by just asking their friends to support the cause. And in the first year, they gave out 54 scholarships to kids to go to private school. And a few years later, the state passed the individual tax credit program. And so in a couple years, it will have been 30 years that we've been doing this work here.
Wow. Now, how did you personally get involved and why?
Well, when I was a teenager, young adult, I was still in college. I worked for a think tank, and like a normal intern, they had me filing. And I was sitting in their library filing, and one of the things I came across was an article from Cleveland, and it was about a mom who lied about her address and used her sister's address to send her kiddo to a safer school. And she actually went to jail overnight for that. And I remember sitting there and just thinking, this can't happen in a free country. This isn't right. And I'm going to fix this. And, when you're 20, you're like, I can fix anything. So it's been over 20 years and I'm still working on it. So I'm very passionate about school choice.
Yeah, it seems that model that you have to go to the school that's in your geographic area and be taught in an assembly line really, thankfully, is breaking down now, and people are recognizing the benefits of choice to everybody. Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of choice, there are other scholarship tuitions organizations. What is the unique space that's occupied by the Arizona School Choice Trust?
Well, there are dozens in Arizona, and they're all doing amazing work. I think what makes us unique is that we are the oldest in the country, and we've been doing this work for a long time. We help families find schools. We help schools kind of do a better job with serving kids' needs. And I think we only focus on kids that otherwise wouldn't have this opportunity. So we really focus on low income children and especially special needs kids. And I think that was really the McVaugh's original vision we try to stick to.
I think it's particularly difficult if people of limited means to, go to private school, and a lot of people, can go to elite private schools and they have the money to do so. But this really opens up choice for those at the lower end of the spectrum, because I don't think anyone can qualify, if I'm correct, to get one of your scholarships unless they're on the school lunch program or something like that.
Correct. They have to be eligible for the federal free and reduced lunch program, or they have to have a learning need like autism or
Right,
another specific learning disability.
right. Um, how can people help you, and what is the benefit to them for doing so?
Well, the awesome thing about Arizona is that it is not just a tax deduction to give to a scholarship tuition organization. It's actually a dollar for dollar credit. So it counts as paying your taxes. So
Let's see if we
anyone who
can
pays,
if hone in on that for a second. Let's suppose an individual expects a $5,000 state tax obligation. He can contribute, I believe, for a couple around $2,365. Is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
Rather
So,
than getting a deduction, they get a dollar for dollar reduction in their tax obligation. And
yep,
then they get
absolutely.
the federal deduction for giving to a charity. Is that correct?
Correct. I always tell people check with your tax advisor on that, but they also can take it as a charitable deduction because we're a 501(c)(3).
Well, this is the time of year where most of us who have got money to manage are looking at tax obligations. So this is a really good time of year for our listeners to look at that and take advantage of this opportunity. But besides, getting the tax break, I would think there's a tremendous psychic uh, reward for doing so. You've got some stories about parents that maybe you'd like to share with us in that regard.
Yeah, my favorite story, we get hundreds of letters every year from parents, but my favorite story actually was shortly after I moved to Arizona. One of the scholarship students, this was even before I worked for ASCT, one of the scholarship students that received an ASCT scholarship, I had met years before during a court battle to defend school choice
Mm.
at my other job. And I went to her school to see her and her mom. And we were standing at the door of the classroom, and there were only 8 kids in the room, and this was a student with really high special needs and nonverbal, couldn't communicate with mama. And, we're standing at the door, and I actually had to ask the mom which child was her daughter because all of the kids were talking either sign language or they were using tablets to communicate, and they were all having a great time. And it was clear that they were had friendships, things that this child had been told they would never have in their assigned school. And the mom was sitting there and in tears like me, just saying, this is the experience my child gets to have because she has the one-on-one support and she has a smaller classroom environment and people who understand her special needs. And that was really an incredible moment for me to see, you know, these programs really do change the entire quality of life of the students, not just their academic experience.
Well, as the father of a severely autistic young adult now, I can I can really identify with that. And of course, when we were going through that process, there wasn't much choice to find programs for him. But it's wonderful work that you're doing, and it's a
Thank you.
tremendous benefit to the people who give to you. It's nice to get the tax benefit as well as doing something worthwhile. How can people contact you, and how can they contribute?
Well, the best way to get a hold of us is to visit our website, which is asct.org. And we have more information specifically on how the tax credit works. We have a donation page, and all of our contact information is there too.
So they can make a donation right on your website.
Yes. And
And
if
would
they
you,
prefer to mail it, we have a donor card they can donate or they can download there.
very good. Well, Liz, thank you so much for spending
Thank
time
you
with
so
us,
much.
and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.